The next movie, I hated this movie. I hated New Moon so much. Wait, hold on. Now, people say New Moon is better than the first Twilight. The first Twilight, I didn't like it because it was boring, and it kind of felt like they could have done something more. Here, they did something more, but how they did it was just insulting. Like this entire movie is basically just a moan fest. Cause in the entire movie, it's just Bella like whining and complaining, like, oh my gosh, Edward left. Like, okay, the story here is basically Edward has to leave Bella because there was an accident with her family, and because it was her birthday, I remember that. And she cut herself, and then Sokka attacked her, and then like Bella attacked Sokka, and then there was a fight. But then they realized that they're endangering Bella, so they have to leave her, and blah blah blah. Now the problem here is that when Edward leaves her, she, like, most of the rest of the movie is just Bella whining and complaining that she needs Edward back in her life. And the movie goes nowhere until Alice Cullen comes back at, like, maybe 10 minutes before the movie ends. And I'm dead serious. Like, the whole movie consists of her whining and complaining. Like, the character that actually drives the movie, because if it had just stuck on Bella, it would have just been a rock. It wouldn't have moved. The character that moves it is, what's his face? Jacob. Like, and at this point in the movie, when Jacob comes in, Jacob sort of actually becomes the main character, where, if they had just, like, turned the camera to Jacob, you would have easily believed he was the main character, because what he's doing in this movie is that he wasn't really in the first movie, but here he has like two subplots. Like, one is that he loves Bella and he's trying to get her to forget what's his face, Edward, and the other one is that he's slowly becoming a vampire. So so what Jacob's doing is that when he notices that Edward leaves Bella, he's trying to get her to forget. So it kind of leans onto the fact that Bella is almost gonna leave Edward, but throughout the whole movie she does not, like, it wasn't even close. Like, he wasn't even close to getting her to forget, because she's so hopeless on loving Edward. Like, that's all I have to say. She's like that hopeless of a character. Like, when Alice, like, there's a scene where Jacob's almost getting her to kiss him, but then Alice comes in telling, we have to go to Italy and stop Edward from killing himself, and she just goes, like she completely forgets what had just happened, and she goes to Italy to meet Edward. And I have a lot of questions at that, because what the book says is that they have an unconditional love and they love each other forever and ever and ever. But it never really, like, establishes why. Like, that's my main problem with this romance. Like, it doesn't establish why they love each other so much. Like, even in the first movie, like, all she did was stare at him. And all he did was stare at her. And then, like, he gave some hints about why he likes her, because he said her blood smelled really good, and then, like, he couldn't read her mind. And maybe that makes more sense to people who read the book, but if you're just watching the movie, you're kind of just like, how does that equal unconditional love. Like, you know what I mean? And that it bothers you because like it bothers the person watching the movie because they're always trying to figure out why they love each other so much, but the movie doesn't give out an answer. Now, the next problem in this movie is Bella. Like, if it hadn't been for the overwhelming fan base, she would have gone down as one of the most hateful characters ever. Like I was surprised at how hateful she is. She okay, for one, she totally disregards Jacob's affections for her, disregards her family's affections for her, and this actually carries on into Eclipse. And she disregards her own care for her own life. Like, and it sort of turns into sort of like a psychological horror movie where when Bella starts like having hallucinations of Edward and she starts having suicidal thoughts and all that. It kind of becomes hard to watch because of this one character. Not because of the acting, because okay, the acting was pretty bad, but because of what kind of character she is, that makes it kind of unwatchable. Now, I was sitting in the theater and I really wanted to leave, but I couldn't leave because I have this kind of thing where I won't leave during a movie no matter how bad it is. Like, I made that oath. So, I really don't know why people think New Moon is better than Twilight. Like, when Twilight was bad, at least it wasn't offensive. Like, this movie was offensive. And I'm a guy. I'm a guy, so it's kind of hard for me to get offended in a movie, by a movie, but this movie managed to offend me. So yeah. And other things to say, it has the same problems from the first movie. So other than that, I got nothing else to say. Now, I would talk about Eclipse, but I already talked about it. Like, I'll probably put this as a video response to the third movie, because I made a review for that like a long time ago. So, yeah, I'm done. Now,